In one split second, I clicked the link. I was scared. In 2 weeks, hopefully I don't remember. And so I trapped myself because I had failed. And so I was like, I want to remember this because I didn't know that. Why would there be a date limit on your dreams? Hey guys, it's Ivaldi Sako. Welcome to the show. Here we talk mostly about mindset stuff, entrepreneurial stuff, things that make your life better, and in any kind of way, to be honest. And I talk about what I learn during my week. It's basically like kind of a journal for me. But if you are interested in those kind of things to make your life better, succeed, and become free, truly free, I suggest you watch the show and become a subscriber right now by subscribing on the show. And you'll get what you saw in the title or thumbnail of the podcast. By the way, if you don't know me, my name is Ivaldi Sako. I used to be the personal trainer of a guy making 300k a month. He teaches me a lot about marketing, digital marketing, and I've been doing this for the last 2-3 years. And I've been doing this in e-commerce. I was like, okay, I need more meaning to my life. And so I was like, okay, I like helping people. So I'm going to right now help people in digital marketing to make more sales, acquire more clients, basically. And this week, a few things happen. I like to put myself into uncomfortable situations, into learning situations so that I learn things, I grow, and I progress toward achieve my goals. And during this podcast, I'm going to be talking about specifically about those things. And you'll get them and you'll, I think, profit from them. So, one of them is what to do when you feel lost or overwhelmed to achieve your goals. Then we're going to be also talking about how I met with the woman that was the CEO of IKEA France for 10 to 20 years. How I met her and other interesting entrepreneurs as well. We'll also talk about how I faced my fears and my anxiety, how I overcame it, kind of. Yeah, I kind of I overcame it. I think I can say that. And also how to set goals the proper way so that you actually achieve them and that you don't give up. Because I was setting goals the wrong way and I thought I had it really good with the smart way, right? No, this is not the way to go about it. I've learned that the hard way. I'm going to tell you about it. And it's going to be pretty useful because it's pretty useful right now for me. Then we're going to be also talking about how to build a big company. How to dare thinking big and building a big company by actually motivating your team and employees. Because basically if your employees and team are not motivated, you're not going to go very far. Like alone, it's very difficult to go very far. And you can do this, but you can also take traits of big companies and implement them into your company, your business, so that you just make more money and ultimately, and at the same time, be more motivated yourself. So I think that's about it. These are the things that we're going to be talking about. I mostly talk about the things that I learned during the week that just passed, and I tell you about what I learned so that you don't have to suffer as much as I do. I suffer for you, you learn, and we're all better for it. So, first thing first. What to do when you feel lost and overwhelmed to achieve your goal? Because I just was. Of course, when I tell you to do things or you should do this and that, I'm basically talking to myself, right? I'm not trying to give you or feel like I'm in a better position to give you, to tell you what to do, but I tell myself what to do and I see what mistakes I did and I'll tell you what I noticed on what I should have done instead of what I did. And so what I used to do, what I did right now, because I felt overwhelmed to achieve my goals, because I had a lot of goals, I had a lot of things to do, a lot of things to take care of in my life. And so I felt overwhelmed. And so I was reading also The One Thing, the book The One Thing, right? I don't remember the author. And actually just having the cover aside of me just gave me inspiration. I was like, okay, the one thing, that's the essential thing, the one important and most important thing, right? And so I was like, what's the most important thing? What's the one thing in my life? or maybe the one thing in each categories of my life. Because this is very interesting. I did just that. I categorized my life. So basically, like, you already know you have categories in your life, of course. But you don't always have in mind the priorities that you have. So I just was, okay, I'm going to prioritize my life. I'm going to see, okay, what's most important for me? What's not as much important for me? And so I created categories. And then I prioritized them. Categories for me were, first of all, my health. No, it was exactly that. I'm going to tell you exactly what it was. In the exact order. So first priority for me was my faith. And the reason why is the categorizing and prioritizing your life is so great. It's not just because you don't feel as much as overwhelmed. It's also because you can plan and strategize your life in the right way to be living a good life. And actually achieving your goals worth it. Because as I learned the hard way, I did not do this the 2 years that has been passing, and I kind of lost my health, and it made me waste time like a lot. And I had as a number one priority my business, and that's it. I was like fully focused on that, and this is not the right way to go about it. You need some kind of balanced life, but not a balance necessarily like equal everything. No, it's not like you and I'm learning this through the One Thing book. You don't need a balanced life. This is not necessarily what you need. What you need is balancing your life the way you want to, and the way it will help you achieve your goals at, increasing your probabilities to actually achieving your goals. And so to me, I realized that it was number one priority for me, my faith. Because without faith, without believing and having hope, nothing is really worth it. Like, if you start believing that something good can happen, it doesn't really matter what you do, what you believe other than that. Because this belief means that anything else doesn't matter, basically. And so to me, I've always believed in God, and I feel like believing in God is having faith, and having faith is having hope. Is believing that something better can happen. Something good at the end will happen, and be kind of sure of that. So proportionally to the degree of faith that you have, the more certain you will be, because it's not just like dichotomies, right? It's not like either are you faithful or are you not. It's to what point are you faithful? To what degree do you have faith? And so my first category is like faith. It's the most important thing. And in the category of health, of each categories, I've written down the thing that came to my mind that I think will be the one and most important thing for me to achieve a certain goal in it. So first of all, I've decided of some kind of a goal in this category, and I've also decided of the one action or the very few actions that will get me the most amount of progress towards that goal. So for my faith, for me, it was praying deeply every single day. Like have a routine every day, every night before I arise, before I go on about my day, I pray. I pray deeply, imagining God, imagining the good thing, imagining being grateful really and deeply. And really what serves me is just imagining like the greatness of God. Like if you believe in the universe, the greatness of the universe, right? But I firmly believe that you should believe in something. I don't think atheism is any kind of good. Like you should believe in something. It's very good to have faith in something bigger that is good and that will make your life better. But basically, like believing things that don't serve you, it just doesn't serve you. So why would you believe them? It doesn't. I don't think it serves anybody to believe that there's no God or no higher power, right? I think it really is useful. Anyway, that's a side tangent. And so this is the action that I've put in place. I mean, this is the action I'm going to be more intentional about because I was already doing this. And so I'm going to be more intentional to pray deeply and not just pray and just like have some kind of like, sometimes you do things just because you are used to do them and you're not really focused on them. So I'm going to be more intentional about it, right? So this is going to be the one action step that it will get me way further to increasing my faith, because this is the goal. My goal is just to increase my faith as much as possible. And notice, I didn't say by which date, right? It doesn't make sense, right? To increase your faith by this date. You can't really put an amount on it. Keep that in mind for later. It is going to be really useful. So my second category, my second priority is my health. Because without my health, I noticed that last year because I've heard my hands working too much on the computer, I've had to take 6 months off, completely off of work, of my business at least, on my online business at least. And so if you don't have health, basically you don't have nothing. Nothing else matters, right? I think it's pretty logical, but we don't really often apply it. That's the most important thing. You need to apply it and have concrete actions that are actually going to allow you to make progress toward having a better health. It's not, are you healthy or are you not? It's to what degree are you healthy? And so last year I was very low on the scale of health. And so I've had to take like half of the year to just focus on my health, my physical and actually mental health at the same time. Because I was very much like alone most of the time, the last 2 years. Like, yeah, especially 2021, I think. And so the actions, I've divided the health into different categories as well, because there's sleeping, eating, exercising, right? And there's also kind of mental health, but I don't really focus on that because like it's going to make you, at least it makes me focus too much on happiness and do I feel good, do I not feel good? And I think it's not the right way to go about it. If you're eating well, if you're sleeping well, if you're exercising most of the time, your mental health is going to be okay. You don't need to focus that much on it. At least I don't like it because I then question too much. Am I being happy? Am I feeling good? And just this question makes you not be happy, not be feeling good, right? But if you don't care about it, just focus on your goals. It's just like you don't care. You have no problem basically. And so I divided it into eating. And to me, eating means eating a diet that's anti-inflammatory, right? Because I have like bad inflammation still in my hands. I can work right now, but like it still hurts me quite a lot. And I also want to take on weight again because I've lost a lot of weight because it's been 6 months. I haven't been working out my upper body at all. And it's sad to see this in the mirror. Like seeing my legs are still kind of the same size and I hope so, the same strength as they were before, but like my upper body just like I've lost weight on it because I couldn't, because of my hands, I couldn't work out my upper body. So I hope to be able to get back training on this. Anyway, it's like, okay, eating, sleeping better. So I put myself into conditions to sleep better during the night. So I have an evening routine, which is actually almost more important than the morning routine, because if you don't get your sleep right, the next day is basically gonna be like messed up. So having your sleep very well dialed in, it's very useful. Also, when you to be able to sleep well, you have to be in a calm environment and not checking your phone, not having blue light into your eyes, and have a routine, have some cues that get you into this state. And also what I like to do is journal, get my thoughts out, because I tend to overthink at night about what happened during the day. So I just get this out on either my phone, and I just plan the next day so that I know that everything is taken care of, right? I know that things are going to go well. I haven't forgotten anything most of the time, so I just don't need to stress about it during the night. Exercising, it's just going to be doing what I do right now, stretching a lot my hands, and this kind of way, right? So this is going to be my health. Then there's going to be my business. And my business is my business goals, basically. And I'll tell you later about how I set proper goals right now. And action steps, how I got into action steps to be most likely to achieve actually my goals. Then at the fifth priority that I have, it's like, okay, first faith, second health, and third business, fourth it's YouTube and kind of podcasting as well, because it's just like kind of my passion project. I like doing it. And it's making me become better. Like it's forcing me to actually learn each week of my mistakes, to tell you about it here. And I like it. I like sharing people. I like helping people in general. I like, it's kind of a passion project. So I like doing it more than I do having a social life, for example. I don't have much of a social life, which is my fifth and last priority. So I have just 5. My fifth priority is like social/personal life. I don't have much of it. It's just like seeing people and also being more comfortable talking to strangers, which we'll get about, I think, right now. Yeah, it's that's how I'll talk to you about how I faced my fears and my anxiety, because I think in the last podcast I talked about this. Yeah, I think I did very briefly, even though I think it was not that great. The last podcast, I don't know if I uploaded it. Anyway, just let me drink a little bit before. All right. So, what was I talking about? Yeah, how I face my anxiety and my stress, my fears. I've had an event, kind of a meetup, because I've registered to a course, and this course is a networking course. And one thing to know about me is that it depends on the time, it depends on the season of my life, but oftentimes I'm not that comfortable in social situations. What I'm doing right now, I'm not that comfortable doing. Like filming podcasts and talking in general makes me very uncomfortable, because I don't do this that much. I'm kind of an introvert at the core of I think even when I was a kid, I was kind of an introvert. I was not the guy that just outgoing and very social. I'm not like that type of guy. I'm not just like more alone, not talking too much, listening, observing mostly. And so I stress a lot when I go and meet new people. Especially when I don't, new people, like when I don't know somebody and I'm going to go and meet them. Especially if there's a stake, like if I have something to win. I'm going to stress out quite often. I'm going to have kind of social anxiety. And this is why I put myself in those situations, to not stress out as much. Maybe I should do it more, but it's not that like the biggest priority of mine, right? So I just don't do it that often. Maybe it should like raise in priority at some point in my life. I think maybe next year, we'll see how it unfolds. Anyway, and so I went to an event. The way I faced my fears, the way I faced my anxiety is just by, first of all, I kind of know myself. I know how I am, right? I understand myself, and the way I do this is just like I journaled a lot. Like I think for the past 4 years, I've journaled about almost every single day. Like whether it was on paper at the beginning, or whether it's on my phone now, I have a lot of journaling, of just expressing my thoughts and understanding, seeing patterns in how I behave, how I run my life, my kind of my paradigms, right? The automatic things and system and thoughts that I have on a daily basis. I noticed that. That's because I noticed that I kind of know myself better. Like journaling is a really important thing. And so because I journal, I know myself, and because I know myself, I know I'm scared of doing those things. And I know I'm going to find any kind of excuse possible to not go meet new people, to not get out of my comfort zone. I know myself. I'm like, hey, Ivaldi, no. I don't have the time. My business right now is like, I'm occupied, and I need to do a lot of things, more important things. It's not that important. What am I going to gain going to meet new people? Like, it's not, especially those kind of people. It's not my market. It's not my audience. Like, yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? I was kind of getting out all kind of excuses at one point. But before that, what's good is because even though I was coming up with those excuses, I had already committed, because I knew this unconsciously. Like immediately, what happened was like the meetup was sent by an email. The proposition to the meetup was sent by an email of the guy that I bought the course from, and he sent it, and I don't know how I did it. It was unconsciously. Like I saw that. I was like, okay, I'm in. I just clicked the link. I committed. I just clicked the link. That's it. That's all I did. I was like, boom. And I committed at this point, even though it was just a click. And he said in the email that we had to tell him if we couldn't come anymore. So I had also some kind of accountability. That's the key thing also, I think. So I had accountability. So I was going to be ashamed of not sticking through my word. And I committed immediately. Like I didn't thought about it like twice. In one split second, I clicked the link. I was like, okay, I'm in. Before I had to come up with any kind of excuses, right? It was 2 weeks later. So I knew I had no like very important plans and rigid plans in 2 weeks. And so I just committed. I was like, okay, I'm going to figure it out. Key thing. I'm going to figure it out. And so I committed, and the day before, I was like, okay, I don't want to go. I really, really don't want to go, man. I was starting to stress out. I was starting imagining myself there and just not knowing what to say and how to talk to new people. I had to connect with them and just, what am I going to say? I was like stressing out a lot. And at one point when I was driving there, because I had committed, I was like, okay, I'm doing this anyway. I knew. I was like, even though these are excuses, I was aware. Like I was making BS excuses just because I was scared. And I was also at the same time listening to 10X, the audiobook 10X from Grant Cardone. Whatever you think about him, I don't care. It helped me. He said in this audiobook that wherever you face fears, this is the direction that you need to go. You need to eliminate fears by just taking so much action and so fast. Don't give him time to expand, basically. And so I was like listening to this. I was like, no, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm so scared, but I'm going to go and just see. And if I'm comfortable, the worst thing that can happen, I'm just ashamed. And in 2 weeks, hopefully I don't remember. That's how I thought about it. Because what I would do is like if I do something that I'm not proud of, like I'm just so stressed out, I will remember this, and it will get me some kind of PTSD, right? So I was like, I'm going to forget about it. It's not a problem. Just I've committed. I can't it's my word. Like this is one of my values. When I say something, I'm going to do it. Like I can't not do it because right now I just committed. I'm just in a trap, and so I trapped myself unconsciously. I think because I did it immediately. Like if I had the time to think about it, I would have not done it. Anyway, I was driving there. It's in Paris, so a lot of traffic. driving there, I was like starting to stress up, like starting to stress out. My anxiety got up. I needed to drink a lot. My mouth got very, how do you say? Like I needed to drink water. My stomach hurt. I was like, my heart started beating a lot faster. And so I used Andrew Huberman. Sorry for the name. Technique, which is like two quick inhales, and the second one is like long and big, and then one long exhale to just reduce your stress. So it's like no. It's like, wait. I used this and it actually worked. Like I did that like 2-3 times. It actually worked. It reduced a little bit my stress. Then I was still stressing out, and I was like, I met a guy when I was parking my car, and I talked to him about something I needed, because I was like, okay, how much time have you been there? Because I was like a lot of traffic, and I was late also. So even more stressed out, right? And I talked to him, and I don't know, it went great. Like, it was a great guy. We ended up connecting on LinkedIn, and yeah, I was like pretty confident talking to him. Like, sometimes I'm really like, I have no problem. Sometimes I have absolute zero problem talking to people. I could be talking with anybody with very ease, comfort, and joy, and just like be very comfortable and like perfect. And sometimes I don't know, I just some switch flip in my head, and I just like get so in my head, basically, and I just like don't know what to say. I don't know. I'm stressed out. I don't know, and I'm just tired also sometimes. So I just like I'm scared of being tired and not having any more energy, because I also have an allergy when I get out, a pollen allergy. So I just like I just get sick and drained. My energy is drained when I have an allergic reaction. So I'm just kind of scared of this as well. Anyway, so I talked to this guy, and I then went and I was kind of running to see where it was. It was like in a hotel in Paris, pretty nice hotel. And on the way there, I asked a stranger to give me direction on the hotel, because I couldn't find it. And boom, I was again pretty comfortable, and it was cool. She gave me the direction, and it was like, there's no problem. And so before I enter into the hotel, there's another guy there, and I said hi to him. We said, okay, my name is Ivaldi. His name was Damien, and it just was cool. So I entered in the hotel in the meetup event with another guy, and I was not stressing out, like not a tiny bit. I was very comfortable, like weirdly comfortable. And I noticed there, like, people were like a lot more like me. Like, oftentimes I'm scared because I don't really understand people that don't want to get better. I have some kind of extreme views. Why, when you are an entrepreneur, you don't think like most people. The majority of people that just don't care, like, about getting better, or don't have any goals, or just like they're not in the entrepreneur. Yeah, they're not in the entrepreneurship, basically. And so I noticed there that people were like very close to what I am like, and what I talk about. It's interesting. I'm good at marketing. Everybody there just wants to know more about marketing. So it's just interesting. And I was actually curious. Like, the way I got over this anxiety, social anxiety, fear, it's just like I was intentionally curious. I was, okay, I want to know more. And I had prepared the night before a series of questions that I could ask to people there. Okay, what do you do? Oh, how much? Since when have you been doing this, right? And why are you doing this? How did it happen that you started doing this? And this kind of question, I was just like, every time they speak to me and they talk about something, I ask like more question about this. And it's just like, I did this naturally because I had prepared the night before. I think my unconscious worked on it because I was so stressed on it. And so it went very well. And there I met the CEO, or the used to be CEO of IKEA France for the past 20 years. So it's like pretty influential people. And she's right now, she's wrote a book. She's wrote a book on leadership, and she's launching it and everything. So it's very interesting people. There are also other entrepreneurs. One entrepreneur creates like, how do you say that? When you go and you just find treasures, right? Like treasure chasing. I don't know what it's called really. Sorry. By the way, if you don't know me, I'm French. This is why I have some struggle speaking in English, and this is why I'm also doing this podcast. Other than I want to document the journey and my learnings. And there was also entrepreneurs in marketing, and some people there teach me about how to create a team that is very good. And I got a lot of value from this, just facing my fear, just going into this direction. Like oftentimes it's the right direction to go into when you're fearful from something, when you get anxiety from doing something. It's the right direction. It was very, very useful. I connected with LinkedIn with the CEO, used to be CEO, the woman that used to be CEO of IKEA France, right? Other marketers. And it's just like, it was very useful. Just because I faced my fears. So I would suggest you do this. And we were talking about building a big company. Well, to build a big company, just like the CEO of IKEA France, I think in the leadership book, she told us that she was talking about this. It's all about talents, right? It's all about talents retention as well. And so to build a big company, and I did this for my business as well this week, I defined the problem that we're solving, the problem of the world, what problem the world is encountering, and how do you want to solve it. So it's like you figure out the problem that you want to solve, your mission, then you figure out your vision, and the principles, values, beliefs of your company. What your company is about. Why does your company exist other than for making money? Like, people don't care about just making money alone. This is why you will see a lot of companies state their mission, right? And create branding ads about their vision, about their mission, about their values, about what they believe in. We believe in ecology, right? We believe in, pure 100% free of plastic things, or very low CO2 emission, right? Things of this nature, right? You see them and they state their mission, their vision, why they are doing something, right? It's just all, sometimes I think a lot of big companies, it's just BS, to be honest with you. I think a lot of big companies, it's just BS to get people motivated. This is what I think. I'm not sure about it, but I feel like it is. But it has a purpose, even if it's BS for the leaders of the company. I don't know, not sure. But it just really serves to get the team a sense of mission, a sense of actually being a team, solving this kind of problem, and doing something that's meaningful. Because people don't want to work just for money. You're not going to be like, people also just relate to having an honorable goal, right? They're working and their work means something. They're making the world a better place. People want that. Actually, I wanted that too, actually, like very much. And so I figured, okay, what problem I want to solve with my company? What's the big problem I don't like in the world I want to solve? Like big picture. Like this is inspirational. This is like thinking big. This is why it's also very important to think big. And this is also something that I got from the book, The One Thing. It's just not being scared of, even if you're beginning, like for me, it's been like 3 years and something I've been in business. It's just like, even in the beginning, you need to think big. I didn't think big before. And so small thinking will get you small results. Big thinking will get you big results. And if you don't achieve the big thinking because of how much bigger it is, you're almost guaranteed to achieve a certain level of success. So thinking big, like a big, super gigantic mission. And so when you do have this kind of big vision of how the world should be, how do you want to change the world, your mission, and also you got your principles. What are you about? What are your beliefs, your values? And so when you state those things and you compel them into just the most simple and clear, concise thing on one page, like I have right now, I think I've come up with 10 values, 10 principles and values that we have, and the problem, the mission, and the vision, right? It makes you also, like myself, I'm more motivated right now that I've got this clear picture of the vision I want to get to. I'm more motivated, so of course my team will be more motivated as well. And so it's really, really useful. I just like everything, like right now, the decision that you're going to make and the decision that you're going to make your team make is going to be defined by your principles. Okay, so if they want to act in a certain way, they know that they need to act in accordance of your vision, mission, principles, all aligned, right? And it's very easy to recruit people when you have, like, you have defined yourself, basically. You have defined the company, what it is. And so everything goes much smoother from there. And so, yeah, this was very, very useful for me. And I don't know if I want to talk about something else. Yeah, this is very important. I was almost going to forget about it. So this thing, maybe I'll light it up a bit. I don't know if it's better like this. All right, so I'm going to be talking right now. I'm going to be, okay. I got distracted with the light. Okay, so right now I'm going to be talking to you about the appropriate way to set goals. So, I used to set goals like this. I want to make $1 million by the end of this year, by the end of December 20th, 2022. I want to make $1 million by this time. And I want to do it doing this kind of actions, right? Doing like in e-commerce, for example. This is a very wrong way to go about it. And I didn't know this. I noticed that when I was watching one of my videos that I shot, I think 6, 8 months, 9, 10 months ago. And I was realizing I was talking about how to handle failure and how difficult it is and how you need to surpass this and not give up, because I very much wanted to give up a lot because I had failed and it felt very bad. And I was on the verge, I was about to give up because I was about to lose hope. Not necessarily give up, but when you lose hope, the most probable action that you will take is just give up. Like, if you have no hope left, why continue? Why keep going? It doesn't make sense. And so I was like, I'm not gonna give up because I failed this, And the reason I failed this is because I didn't achieve the deadline I had put for this goal, the time frame. And remember this, because I didn't know that. I don't think you should put a time on your goals. Like if a goal is worth achieving, it should be worth achieving, even if you don't meet any deadline. Why would you stop going after your goal if you didn't achieve it by the certain date? In 2 months, I want to make $10,000 a month, right? For example. Why, wouldn't it, so you mean that it wouldn't be worth it anymore to get this goal 3 months from now? No, it will still be worth it, right? So why would you make yourself feel this pain and feel like a failure and associate yourself as a failure when it doesn't really matter? Like if you do this a year from now, like when you set a time frame, you basically unconsciously, at least I did that, you unconsciously agree that if you don't get it by this time, you're not good enough, you failed, and it's not worth it anymore to get it because it's too late. So why do this? So instead, what I think is best to do is get rid of the time frame. I will make $1 billion company. Point blank. That's it. Nothing, there's no time frame. It's worth doing. I will solve this problem. Point blank. Like this, that's it. It's worth it. So why put a time frame on it? The only reason to put a time frame on it, and I think this is also one of the reasons why I did that, is because you want to be able to plan how much actions you need to take to get to this goal. So let's say, for example, you want to make $1 million per year, right? So you want to know how much actions is required to get to $1 million a year. And this is why I think it's best to set a goal, a financial goal, for example, of $1 million a year instead of $1 million in 12 months. This is very, very different. When you say $1 million per month, $1 million in 12 months, you're saying, okay, at this time of the year, I need to have $1 million. If I don't, I'm a failure, I'm not good enough, and it's not worth any more achieving. But if you say, I need to make $1 million per year without any date limit, it's different. It's not the same thing. It's not the same goal. And this is why I think it's best to put this kind of goal without any time. But you still, because this way, when you set a per year goal, right? You know the amount of actions that you need to take still. But if you just say, I want to make $1 million at any kind of time, you don't know exactly what amount of action you want to take. So for example, let's be very concrete right now. You want to make $1 million per year. You're going to go and you're going to say, okay, how many, for example, you're just making a sale, you're selling something on the phone, right? So you need to have a certain amount of sales calls to get to sell enough of your product or service to get to $1 million. So you need to figure out how much is one client worth to you. So how many clients do you need, right? For example, let's say you need 100 customers to get to $1 million. And so you need to have a certain amount of sales calls, depending on the conversion rate that you have. So always be pessimistic. This is basically the key principle in setting your goals without a time frame, because you want to be pessimistic. Because the thing is that when you're optimistic, I saw something like, it was like some kind of military guy. He was talking about, I think in Vietnam or something like this. It's just like when you are optimistic, you're much more likely to lose because you will lose hope. You will lose faith because you have expectations of a very much good thing, maybe sometimes too good to be true. You have expectations of something too good to be true. So this expectation is not going to be met, and when it's not going to be met, it's going to feel like it's a failure or there's no more hope. You can't do it anymore. It's like it's never going to happen right now. But if you're pessimistic and you think it's going to happen in like 10 years instead of like in a month, you keep going. You keep taking the actions, and so you don't give up. And so because you don't give up, you increase so much your chances of success. Like basically just to be certain of achieving your goals, to be absolutely sure of achieving your goals, all you need is not to just not give up and keep taking actions in the right direction. That's it. And so it's just very, very useful. You just, okay, to achieve $1 million a year, you need to go down the math. Okay, just, this is why it's useful to have still a date, a date, but you're not attached emotionally to this date. This date doesn't matter. It just matters to get you the one singular action that you need to take daily, the amount of action that you need to take daily to be able to achieve this goal. This is the only useful thing about putting setting some kind of date, but you don't care about the date. It's just a mean to define the actions, the quantity of actions that you want to take, and that's it. Then you don't care about the date. You just take the quantity of action that you want to do, and you strive to get to this amount of quantity of action that you want to do daily, for example, and you do this. And when you do this, the more time you spend on it, the more likely you're going to get it. And the closer you get to this level of actions, if you have been pessimistic about your, okay, how much is your conversion rate on sales calls? How much is your appointment booking, percentage on your outreach? If you're pessimistic about those things, you most likely will achieve your goal even before you expect it to. And that's the key. If you want to achieve always your goals, it has to be a good surprise that you have achieved them that early. You don't want to be like, it's finally there because I've expected it to be like so much before. Because when you expect it to be so much before, you fail too much, and it's just so difficult and so hard on you to keep going. So what you want to do is just be certain of just keeping in mind the big goal. This is why also having a big goal is more useful, because you're going to be directly in the right direction. Because also in the one thing, the author speaks about how if you plan for a small goal, sometimes you put yourself in the box and you can't, it is very difficult at least to go beyond that goal. But if you could get a gigantic goal, a very big goal, big dream, even if you just don't achieve that big of a goal, you're still surprised and very happy from what you have achieved. Anyway, this is what I think about. I don't think it's a good thing to set a time frame. Okay, I want to do this by this date. I don't do this anymore. I will put just the big goal I want to achieve and no time frame. No date limit. Because why would there be a date limit on your dreams? Why? There's no reason. I hope you liked this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, like, subscribe, share the show, because I don't have anything else to sell you. I don't do this kind of things. I want you to share the show, and I just hope to provide as much value as possible to you. I hope you liked it. I very much thank you for spending this time for me. I don't take your attention and your time for granted. I really thank you. And I hope to see you in the next show.